The breaking God himself. Went to a town. Oh yeah, don't forget. Before we blew up the cave, we went the whole thing if Thamor was actually naked or not.
That was a thing that happened. Yeah.
On top of that, we also went back over to we went to go visit Raina's family.
We
And
visit
Thamor
Raina's
is telling
family.
a story. Sorry, not Raina's family. Moroni's not Moroni. I'm fuck. Hildy's family.
We'll
Yeah,
get
no,
there
we-
One
eventually.
of them.
No, it's Yanara's family.
Nara's family. Poor Gek.
I mean,
Then Thamor's telling stories.
that's right. Thamor was telling the rest of Hildy's.
Seabreeze went up to go steal from the poor people.
That's also true.
Yeah, that happened too.
I honestly forgot
Hildy
what
has-
Drake is doing. What Blue Man's doing.
What am I doing? I'm being a hero, like I always do.
Me too.
I'm a great hero. You doubt me. You doubt me.
And the
Yes.
pitch was this big.
I'm insulted. I'm hurt. That's like a dagger to the heart.
Just
A
leave it on the
dagger
windowsill.
assault.
Did Gord die?
No, I'm just really silent. I'm
No.
eating
Okay,
food.
it
I
shows
don't want...
Noko is like saying something. Like his thing's lit up. but he's-
Sorry. Yeah, I turned my sound gate off because I have a sound gate on the voice meter.
Okay, I just didn't know if you were trying to say something because it was lit up and then nothing was happening. It's like, am I
No,
still
no,
hearing
you're
what's
good.
happening? Am I broken? Discord broken again. Yeah, so you guys dispelled the alarms around greener greens.
It's a map
Caved
of the
in.
town.
Huh?
No, I just saw the map.
Yeah.
I've got to build that until Spire. It looks so cool. Sorry.
Go for it. I mean, none of these are mine. I wish I could design. I'm not that artsy for making maps, but find good ones and try to replicate what I had in my head. Train of thought. So yeah, you guys caved in the kind of the mountain pass that was connecting Greener Greens to somewhere. You don't know where exactly, but connecting somewhere in Jarrag. Caved it in, sealed it off. Nearly had Seabreeze get left inside.
That's true.
Used the Morani-inspired taxi Eagle service to get over the mountains.
Also true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would the DM ever lie?
Alright, I guess I've got two things.
Hmm?
Eagle Thamor had a helmet, and Little Thamor had a helmet. There we go.
These are also true.
Sorry.
Yeah. You guys arrived in Cinderhaven, where you kind of saw them in the process of slowly rebuilding from the event of the raid, and you guys talked to Hildy's father a bit about kind of what happened, what the plan was, the fact that you bringing Ren, you found that you have a similar friend, essentially, in Ren, between you and Hildy's father, which I don't know why I'm blanking on a name right now, because I'm
Orin.
looking up the wrong thing. Orin. I don't know why I'm looking up. But yes, I was looking up something else, and I was like, that's not his name. I think it's because it sounds like Ren, so I just don't assume it's that. But yeah, so you guys, we ended with you guys kind of talking over dinner. I don't know if there is any other plans for that night. I know we kind of ended with Andros talking a bit with Orin about kind of the guild's
Mm-hmm.
general purpose and exchange. Orin, of course, wanted to hear stories, tales from across the seas, because he's still kind of a curious little gnome at heart. Doesn't really get to get out of the village much, but wants to hear what kind of adventures his daughter has gotten herself involved with.
Yeah. No, he would share, of their travels across the sea and, what they've been up to on the ship. If he asks about what happened before they met up, he would downplay it, but he wouldn't lie about it. He would answer his questions succinctly and truthfully.
Okay. And then as far as like information on the guilds, I mean, we can either RP the questions you have if you want his answers, or we can, I guess, like lore text dump it at some point. But
I mean, we can
kind of depends on what you want to know.
we can RP it a little bit. I mean, again, I don't. I expect that most of the time in Cinderhaven we're going to be here talking with Orin and helping out around the village while we're waiting for Ren to get there. So we can chat it out a little bit.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if anyone else has any current things they want to do while in the village, or before, like, especially that evening. Leave. My notes are still correct. You have about, I think it was 2 days before Ren is supposed to meet you here, or was it a day and a half now?
I don't know that.
Andros called him, so we landed like a couple miles outside of town and camped there for the night. Andros contacted with the stone that night, and then obviously we got into the town the next morning. So it's he's had probably 12 hours since Ren was told that that's where they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he didn't actually give you the timeline.
Nope, he has not. He didn't respond.
No, he never responded to us.
Yep.
He was silent.
That's right. That is right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, then we will get there in that time. In that case, then, like I said, for the rest of the evening, is there anything you guys are doing? I know we already have Freya is tending, kind of trying to help out and tend any of those that are injured or sick, over in the infirmary, like building. I know the rest of you were kind of like just eating dinner, talking. Thamor was telling stories. Seabreeze, I guess, was apparently going out to rob the local populace.
I mean, no, she wasn't.
Oh, that's what.
No, that's a joke. No, she just walked off.
There you go. That's right. You were looking at. I know you were looking at all the like the deity statues, the deific statues, and stuff like that. Or looking for like a temple.
Right, and yeah, right, and probably reporting back to Echo.
Okay.
I think there was a joke that she was off robbing people.
Well, that's what Noko
Yeah,
said earlier. That's why I was playing with it.
Yeah, it's just a joke.
I was just playing off of that. But all right. Anything else you guys have plans for in terms of? Because like I said, it's with the trek over. I think it was almost a full day's trek to get here. So with the flight, well, like full like active day.
Yeah. It took us basically the entire day from getting to the. I think we actually might have landed like halfway, slept, then flew the other half, slept, and then got here. So it's been like 2 days since we got to the tunnel the afternoon of that 2 days prior, basically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's right. You did sleep prior, so you got here in the morning then.
Yes.
So never mind. So this would be breakfast then. It's not like a lunch breakfast.
Yep.
Okay. I got my time backwards.
Yeah, we walked in with the morning, with the rising sun.
Shows how much I can process things this week. Okay, so never mind. You have a full day. So then, okay, what is your plan then for the rest of the day as you're waiting for word from Ren?
Let's go reverse alphabetical order. Thamor.
Wow, you were just waiting to say that.
Got him!
Oh, what time of day is it?
It
Morning.
is.
Jason, we just talked about this, dude.
Man, I thought my memory was bad, but that was literally like 10 seconds ago.
Oh, you know what I'm doing.
Yeah, memory. Yeah, right.
Fishing.
Oh my god, he just duplicated himself.
I can't control that token.
Yeah, yikes. What the fuck?
Just walks. One body is telling stories. The other body just walks out of him and goes to the river.
Is concerned. What the fuck is going on?
As well as you should be.
Where's the shrines that am supposed to be
His
near?
god powers are growing.
Pray to no God will help you here. I am that God.
Somewhere over here, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, fishing.
Yeah, there would be a shrine, like, so there's not really a temple per se, but there would be like a kind of a, like underneath a tree, like a small deific statue. Cute. I think you actually sent me it. To, yeah, Garl Glitter Gold.
Wait, what?
Hmm.
What about Gargoyle Gold?
The deific statue.
Can you write that in the chat just so we can see how that is spelled? Gargoyle glitter. Okay, thank you. What kind of are there any offerings to the statue?
There's a couple of coins.
Uh-huh.
And like kind of precious metals, like made like ores or processed like little trinkets of sorts.
Okay. Do I have any money? I don't think I have any money. Oh, I do have money. I will leave 2 gold.
Okay.
Okay.
Booted.
He asked me to share screen and then he disappeared.
He's not, yeah, he's more the god of luck, protection, and trickery, but he's particularly a deity specifically to the gnomes.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not a super religious town. Some still kind of pay heritage to their like, gnomish roots in that regard and have the statue out there and make small offerings to him, but there's no like church or temple per se to him.
So is this structure relevant? Is it like a big like the mayor's house or something?
It's more of a just like a communal town hall.
Oh.
So,
In that case. Oh,
so yeah, going inside you see, I mean for the most part it's kind of empty at the moment as most of the gnomes currently are out trying to fix up the village and such, so it's pretty empty at this time. But there's a couple still hanging around and talking. They kind of eye you as you slip in, but give you a curt nod before they kind of resume their talking.
Okay.
If you want to overhear them, you can. Not exactly being hushed about it.
Nope, she'll just look around and try not to be super awkward. Probably fail.
Yeah. So this town doesn't get a lot of village, like a lot of like tourists or anything like that, or a lot like there's not a lot of trade traffic through it. It's not really on any major trade points, but they still get their fair share of travelers, mainly from Jerag as they trade with their created goods and finished ores and such with Jerag, in exchange for basic materials. So this is a spot that you probably would imagine that they would bring said travelers to come and usually either rest or talk or discuss the value, like the exchange of their wares.
Oh, so there's things for trade?
Um,
I'll let you
currently
think
there's
about
no.
it if you want to.
I'll say currently there's not really any active traders since the village just got raided,
Oh.
but there are still some, like, if you were to ask the two gnomes that are kind of there idly chattering, they do have stuff that they can sell to you from their own supply. There's no foreign, like, traders from Jerag or outsiders currently here because, again, the village was attacked, so no one's shown up and they were told not to basically go. But if you wanted to purchase things, they would be there. However, it's probably not till later in the afternoon after people have done kind of their morning, like,
Okay.
fix up around the village, and they would have to probably call them in to talk to you.
Okay.
Should that be something you wish to peruse?
Sure. Later.
Okay. And Claymore has gone fishing, as is of great surprise to no one. Do you have your fishing gear still? Claymore? Claymore is currently fishing with his head underwater, apparently. How about the rest of you? If we're going in reverse, that would bring up...
I think Hildy would be next. Over Seabreeze and Thamor.
Yeah.
I think that if we're still fairly early on in the day, I think that she would be probably helping her father out around his workshop, like, you know, helping fix that up, and, you know, maybe like picking through his, you know, like looking to see what Orin would be willing to let her take as far as like supplies and stuff is concerned.
Okay. And it'll be a lot of, if you're doing that, it'll be a lot of walking and talking, because again, he's very interested in talking to, you know, Andros and the rest of whoever's sticking around to learn of the travels, and just kind of that general flow of information that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Hildy is doing. That brings us to Barnacle, I guess, technically, but I imagine Barnacle is just doing whatever Andros is doing.
Barnacle, yeah, he'd be hanging out with Andros, talking. Honestly, he'd probably be talking with the siblings. You know, he's a social. I don't want to call him a nymph, but he's social. He's out and about, just chatting with people, being a goober.
Okay.
I feel like Hildy's what mother would find you exhausting.
Great. He's spending much time with her.
Oh, good.
Which siblings would find him in you know, fun? So he'd basically be. He would
Which
be,
one would find you fun? Rosalind, for sure, the sister.
So he would be being a goober with Rosalind, causing no small amount of stress to your mother, as he's maybe hovering around whatever she's cooking or whatever she's doing. He's just he is encouraging bad behavior.
Oh, great.
That's Barnacle.
Duly noted. All right. How many hit points is Barnacle? Just kidding.
30, 36, 39, 39.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Rosalind will follow you around, be fascinated, be kind of like trying to study you, I guess, in that regard. And as for Lily's mother, yeah, she's putting on the nice face because guests and all that, guests of her daughter, all that jazz, but yeah. Finger
The worst
on
thing in the world.
more or less an explosive type gadget of sorts.
He's mostly just whatever she's doing, he's being obnoxiously inquisitive.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
And I imagine Rosalind is just having as much fun with it as possible, pointing
She's-
out different things and
Oh yeah.
reminding Mother of, hey, do you remember this thing that you did or this thing? And it's like, stop mentioning things. Yeah.
After this, she's going to compose the Ballad of the Funny Waterman.
Great.
And she learned several new curse words from her mother that day. Okay. So Barnacle is being the
Being
household
Barnacle.
pest.
Yeah.
Absinthoss, what are you up to?
Just going around, chatting people, just trying to understand more about this village, trying to understand their relationship to Jerry Rag. Trying to understand more about the inner workings of Jerry Rag than necessarily.
Are you getting it from
how
the
village
populace,
works.
or do you want to get it from, like, because I believe that's what Andros is also talking to Orin about.
I wouldn't mind joining in on that conversation. I know he'll go to bed early and save a spell slot for later.
Okay. Well, it's still morning. I have the time backwards, but
Yeah,
still
but he's
has
going to
some
keep
time.
a spell slot for Josh. He wants to have a nice
Oh,
chat
right.
with Josh later.
Poor
Good.
What could possibly go wrong?
I think it'll be nice.
I don't think Josh will think it'll be nice.
Well,
Remind me who Josh is.
He's
Josh
the
is-
assistant to Dr.
That's right.
Palestone.
Yes.
The
Okay.
one that they were all ragging on, and he stole a hair and convinced that it was all the professor's fault, but the professor, of course, is blaming Josh because that's just what he does.
actually, the professor might actually be a better target now that I think about it.
I'm sure you've got little vials from all of them.
I'm sure that'd be a reasonable, haircut from each.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly be in that same conversation, helping Rouse needed, but he will go to bed early to have some shenanigans later.
Be a good boy and go to bed early to torment the dreams of others. So then Andros is talking with Orin. So okay, so I guess we can kind of sort these out in that way. So I guess we'll start with the conversation since it has a couple party members involved. But yeah, as after kind of a light meal, Orin kind of gets up and starts trying to set up his lab a little bit, but he also goes out. A lot of the conversation will kind of take place outside as he's walking along the streets. He seems more focused on helping others in the town than he is about trying to patch up his shop. But he will kind of back and forth, go between the house and go between just wandering around or going back to the house to get a tool or something. But
Andros will be helping out with shape mold earth and shape water and his different cantrips that he's got. Whether it's hey, there's a a stone here that needs to be reshaped. He'll reshape it with mold earth, or if there's ever a house that is fully gone, he'll look at Orin and basically say, "Right, how do you want it?" And he'll use wall of stone to build the house. Just probably a
There's
couple
none of
houses,
the-
honestly.
so the town is not so badly raised that there are just obliterated houses.
Okay.
It's mostly, it looks, again, as you kind of survey, and they've done a lot of fixing since the raid, but a lot of the patchwork that you see, it looks like the houses were really just kind of almost not raised, they were blown into. They were forcefully, a hole was blown into or a door was blown off, or parts that are missing. It looks like they just forced entry in most of the houses.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then kind of went maybe some wanton spells went errant. You would assume maybe it's just them shows of force or just being threatening kind of mentality, but it wasn't like they came to just demolish and raise the town.
Okay.
They were obviously looking for something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, between mold earth and mending from his staff. He's helping out as he can.
Okay. Which, yeah, Orin definitely appreciates. The other... I should have filled the map with a bunch more just random NPCs, but the other gnomes of the
There are
village
no-
also
What's the
greatly
like?
appreciate.
How many people? How many gnomes live in this town, roughly? You talking
Like,
like
an
maybe
actual
100?
population?
Yeah, like is that like 100 gnomes? Is it like 50?
About 100.
Okay.
That sounds about
There's
right.
also there's also a mix of a couple. There's like races, not nearly as many, but there's a couple as you pass by. You'll see a couple dwarves, a couple humans.
Sure.
Just kind of not very many, but some spare ones that if you ask Orin about it, he just mentions that there are some that do come from Jerag or others that just have come to kind of like this, like kind of like the retreat this place offers.
Sure.
From the hustle of Jerag, or they come as assistants. Some of them come to learn from some of the gnomes. Because you'll also learn that a lot of the gnomes here, there's a mix of just general, it's a village, there's a lot of the general roles and stuff, but a lot of the gnomes here are associated or like have ties to Jerag in either being like researchers or being inventors or being tied to the different guild operations. And they either had once worked there and have now kind of retired and have come here, or they still actively kind of work for them by producing stuff here to send.
Okay. So Cinderhaven is the Florida of Jerrag.
Wow. Wow, man.
Hildeman strikes again.
No, yeah. So more people, old timers, people who have been around the guilds a long time.
Like I said, it's a mix. Yeah, there's a couple. There's definitely a fair share of older gnomes that have been around the guilds, like actually worked directly in them, or in being included. And several that he knows that were his former either guildmates or from other guilds that have all kind of retired to an extent here. But there's also like a fair amount of that is either just they work to keep the village running, like they run farms or they run whatever. But there's also a mix of those that are, because their relatives worked with the guilds, they now kind of fall in their footsteps of not necessarily working directly there, but they're here like processing ore, processing inventions, doing research, doing stuff that, again, when the traders do come to Jerag, that's what that exchange comes from for basic materials is their labor.
Sure. But these are not people who are hyper ambitious. The ambitious ones go to Jerrag proper. They go and be with the seats of the guilds. These are families.
Except for maybe like the really young ones that can't go yet. But yes, the ones that would be like hyper or engaged to move up ranks, as it were, have gone to Jerrag or other locations.
Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of the like retirement home, but like just a, I don't know the word for it, but like
it's a sleepy mountain village essentially.
Yeah.
With
that's a good way to look at it.
A good
It's
populace
very
of inventors. So there are a few explosions here and there.
Good. What mountain village doesn't have explosions now and again?
It wouldn't be a D&D village without them.
I'm sure the goats only jump every third explosion these times.
Okay.
But as they're walking, I think eventually he would shift the conversation to hedging about Ren. Talking, about he'd want to know, about kind of the structure of the guilds. He's heard some, obviously he knows of the guilds. He's, Hildy's kind of explained, you've got the Izzet who seem more on the inventive side. We've obviously seen the Simic, which are more biological. The Dimir seem more focused on ordnance and weaponry. Orzhov, from what he's talked with Ren, are about artifice and history and the history of magic items and history of magic in that regard. Archaeologists, essentially.
Yeah.
So eventually he would have the conversation drift to asking about Ren.
Okay.
Right, you said you knew Ren, right?
Well, yes, a friend of mine, if could be believed.
He's human, yeah? So you probably knew him before he became a guildmaster then.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. He, studied under a friend of mine in the Izzard Guild initially, but it wasn't really his calling. He was definitely more, of a wild one, I guess you should say.
That's interesting. You can transfer guilds then? I figured,
Yeah.
well, with what Shortstack is being charged with, you're kind of stuck in whatever guild you were born into. But it doesn't seem to
Well.
be the case.
What my daughter was charged with was trying to actively participate in 2 guilds at the same time. There is legal ways to formally transfer guilds, especially if you're early enough in your apprenticeship program. I mean, after all, going into the wrong guild with the wrong skill set benefits nobody.
Fair.
Why
So-
can't you work in 2 guilds?
And he kind of sighs a little bit and scratches his head. Well, information is, well, it's worth its weight in gold in that place. And the guilds are very privy about the inventions and things they work on to prevent anyone else from trying to one-up them or sabotage them so they can get more funding. Or at least that's what it seems to be. So, you have someone that's working both sides, well, it's hard to tell if they're doing it for any benefit for themselves or if they're a spy for one guild or another, or, well, you can probably infer the rest.
It seems like it benefits Jeriag the least, but difference of opinion.
Yes, well, there used to be a coalition to try and push for a more unified guild system, but unfortunately that did not pass, and they were disbanded as well. Too many people like their secrets and they see it as a way of motivating each other, to have that challenge of sportsmanship amongst the guilds.
Seems like a great way for someone to get hurt.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Anywho,
Healthy competition is great and all, but let's just... I can't say threatening people with, what, eternal or lifelong servitude for making a mistake. It seems there's a little more at play here, whether it's profits or ambition seems more important than actually ingenuity, invention.
Depends on who you talk to, I suppose, but again, you're not maybe wrong. I don't claim to know all the details of what's behind all their motivations, but, well, the fine print of a lot of things is what a lot of the guild leaders nowadays, or some of the other aspiring researchers, like to rely on in order to get an edge over their competitors. When your research requires enough funding and you're denied, or you don't have the ways to get about it, well, underhanded tactics are what some of them resort to. And Jerag is a... well, don't let it fool you. It has its problems, but Jerag is still a marvelous city. No other place can you find such unbound inventions and creativity and potential. It's just... well, I guess over the years it's harder to see that at times when sometimes regulations are called for to prevent the tragedies of the past.
I'm not so certain. That description of hell may be more accurate than you state. They're all contracted up, scheming amongst themselves. Oh, what is that phrase that people have used? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater?
We actually invented a thing to grab the baby before the bath. Oh, anyway, that's beside the point. Well, you're not wrong, lad. And again, I have a hard time fully agreeing because, while yes, I would love to just have worked on anything I wanted at all times, there are many whose experiments were, well, they were downright dangerous. And while I fully believe that everyone should have a chance to explore and innovate, that's how progress is made, there needs to be some form of control. Take for instance, the Demir Guild, right? Imagine if there were no regulations in place to control their ability to invent. They could create devices to level the entire city. And that would be on accident.
And what's stopping them from developing that right now?
The checks and balances of the other guilds, the providence of funding, and the reports that they provide. And of course, the inspections.
Now, it's all about who they can get to buy it.
Well, if there is enough funding, which would be, as you say, the one to buy it, they could, enlist some pretty, I imagine, dangerous facilities, but of course, they're supposed to undergo proper precautionary structures, and that's why they've got their own testing chambers now well beneath the ground, to prevent any misfortunes. I mean, we had a fair amount of those prior. Oh man, you could hear explosions throughout the night at times.
Those are well regulated then.
It's about as well as explosions can be, I imagine.
I expect no live testing, live ammunitions.
Oh, there's plenty of that. It's just contained in the proper facilities.
With proper safety precautions then, yeah?
Well, yes, they're supposed to.
See, that's the part that bothers me. I don't think... Your daughter mentioned something about an open secret in Jerarag. A little place called Greener Greens.
Ah. So you've heard of that place.
She's
Yeah, it's
mentioned
not...
it, yeah?
Of course, she's mentioned it. I mean, I know of it. Everyone in the guilds eventually learns of Greener Greens.
How much
Not
of it is truth?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, from what she's told me, it's a little bit like waste management, a dumping grounds, where the failed things go.
It's kind of a somber expression. It's the rumor that circulates, yes, but the fault perhaps lies in what is allowed to be considered waste or dangerous. The experiments that are supposedly offloaded there are supposed to be offloaded and monitored for any changes to mental behavior. At least that is what is written in their public reports. As they have demonstrated with public demonstrations in front of the guild's council that aberrant behavior in some of the test subjects can lead to violent, if not, well, catastrophic reversals, and such inhabitants have to be relocated. Those that exhibit none of that and are proven to be safe are reintegrated into Jerag or the Jerag proper areas.
That's all rumor and hearsay, yeah?
That is what is known outside the Simic Guild. I can't say I'm privy to their inner workings. I did not work for them. Apologize.
That's fine.
It is.
It's a lot to take in. I've lived most of my life on the water. And, well, things are a lot more. Well, you fly by the seat of your pants and the wind in your sails, yeah? All this legal bullshit. It's a little tough to swallow. But
And I don't blame you, lad. I've been around long enough that I've seen both sides of the coin. While I miss being able to just pick up anything that tickled my fancy and researched it, there are dangers to that. Very, very real dangers to things that can be unearthed or experimented upon, especially when done so in the proximity of others.
so you worked for. Is it? Right?
Yes.
Like your daughter?
Is it? Yes.
Do they also have a greener grains?
Well, yes and no. We didn't work with human or humanoid experimentation the way the Simic do. Our greener greens, if you wish to sully it and such, was more of a mechanical scrapyard.
Interesting. And what of the Orzhov? What of Ren? You said he was the least dangerous, or least prickly of the guilds to be involved with.
Well, to be perfectly fair, they're kind of the mixed bag of the guilds, because they focus on research and sending out adventurers to dig up ancients and study. Well, their danger is hard to really gauge. They don't ever intently to try to research anything that would bring harm or danger, and everything they study, they try to do within safe means, but there's always the mix of digging up ancient artifacts. Who knows what they do? But Ren himself seems never to really have any ill intent. He just simply likes to learn. That boy could sit for hours in a lecture just to listen and learn about the world. And the moment it went to any mechanical or intensive properties, he'd leave.
Curious sort. Not
Very.
not necessarily a tinkerer or a meddler.
Oh, not at all. That's why he didn't stick with the Izzet. He liked to get his hands dirty, but not in that way. He liked to just grasp the objects and go out and adventure himself, and it's what he did. He worked for the Orzhov, apprenticed there for many years, and completed many an adventure and acquisition job, and brought back apparently a lot of history and other discovery.
Do you know him when he was joined the Izzets early on?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about him.
Well, like I said, he was very quiet when he first came aboard. Very, very quiet, but you could tell he had a very inquisitive mind. He was always looking around, always studying, always asking. He would never talk unless he was questioning something, asking what something does, or where it came from, or what the material was from. It was always to learn. But around social interactions or such, he was always a very quiet boy. Never liked to really talk to others, or, go to parties or any of the get-togethers or social standing type things. He just would always lock himself up with a book. Never really told me much, though, about where he came from, though it didn't really bother me. When you come to Jarag, it's really not about where you're from, so much as what you're going to do, what future you hold, what you will invent.
Did he have, that you know at least, did he ever have a particular vice or insatiable curiosity for one topic? Was there something that he seemed to be interested in more than others?
Kind of like strokes his shin. Perhaps ancient history would be the biggest. Learning of the old kingdoms before, perhaps the current establishment of what is now.
Like, we're talking Calamity era? Pre-Calamity?
Yes, precisely, pre-Calamity. Like, what existed before? What were the kingdoms like? What was everything? And history seemed to be his favorite.
Huh. Interesting.
Thamor is just sitting there fishing and pokes his head up from the water and just says, and pokes back.
What?
That wasn't Thamor.
Oh, that wasn't Thamor. I thought that
No.
was Thamor. My bad. He like
No.
lit up on my screen for a second. So I thought Nogo went like as if he was.
I'll try a different next time.
Sorry, I just saw his name light up for some reason. I thought it was Thamor, just like Nogo saying like it's just.
Wow. Well, I suppose if he's interested in history, I wouldn't be surprised if our friend Thamor over there would want to talk with him. He's a curious one, that Thamor.
You're all pretty curious, if you ask me. Not many times do we get visitors of such, well, renown here.
We're not renowned. I'm a sailor. He kills stuff with a halberd. The only one with any renown is Asgard here. But he's a prince,
Right.
you know that?
He looks up at. All right, well, I guess I'm a monkey's uncle then. Well,
I mean, are we calling Hildy a monkey? Is that allowed?
well, he kind of like leans in a bit close as Hildy is moving. Don't tell her I said that, but well, it might be a bit fun.
I like you. You're great.
Well, thank you. I try to, stay on the up and up and have a bit of fun now and then. I'm not well, I used to be very busy in my youth, but well, you realize in your old age after inventing and spending so much time in a lab, but there are other things that make life memorable too. Like take your friend over there who's fishing. He seems to have found the simple pleasures in life.
Yes. He certainly has. He is a man of
certainly
few
not.
words and great deeds, big and small. He does everything with a sense of quiet excellence. Now myself, well, I can't be
Oh,
bothered
no.
with that. As a halberd comes flying out of the background and spears him in the back of the head.
No, not even just that. You just feel a little tug at your shirt for a brief second before you go flying through the air attached to a fishing hook line.
Oh.
Fuck! Just tumbles. Hey, boy, fuck it! I was just saying how. Fuck!
Yeah. Makes great bait. No, but anyway.
Eventually detangles himself from the line. Mends the sizable gash or tear in his jacket from Thamor not giving up from tugging. Like, I caught something. Yes, like I said. Quiet excellence. Fucking Thamor.
Well, big fella, Thamor, I could rig you up a fishing pole that'll probably, well, it wouldn't fail as it just did.
Oh, no. Oh, Jesus.
But, please. Thamor, take him up on the offer. Please.
I'm still over by the bridge.
I mean, they're wandering around the village, so this is like,
Oh, are
actually,
they?
Yeah,
this is
we
a point
had
where they
maybe
like,
crossed the
Okay.
bridge at that point.
yeah, that's why he pointed you out when you was like saying you found simple pleasures.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Thamor has his halberd.
Oh, you're
No,
spear
no.
fishing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Spearfishing. I like rear back the hook and throw my halberd and it just catches on the blue
He just
man's
catches
shirt.
That halberd was silent.
I guess he would be like, well, I could rig you up something more like a fishing pole if you'd prefer to fish that way, lad. I'm not sure halberd fishing is really, well, maybe the most efficient, unless that's just what you enjoy.
Roll again,
Would I
Bayron. Roll
enjoy?
again.
Yes, I'm gonna roll again. I will prove my strength. Look how good I am at fishing. Aha!
Of course.
So
Incredible.
that first roll is him basically hooking Andros and yanking him forward and like slamming you against the bridge. Realizing he kind of hooked you instead, looks down, shrugs, looks back at the water, and just launches it full speed after Oren's remark and just impales a large fish, like just sticking it perfectly in the water. Oh. Well, I guess you don't need my help after all. Huh.
Oh my
Truly,
god.
the world is a marvelous place.
And I expect at this point he recalls the halberd just back to his
Yep.
hand. So it's just
Halberd
a
fish and all.
giant fish flopping on the end. And... like
Well.
I said, quiet excellence.
Any fisherman of great caliber could do such a thing even with a fishing pole. Well, I stand corrected then. Perhaps I don't know if I can improve on that particular skill.
Thank you.
Yeah, Andros will turn back to Oren. Right. I don't know. Does Ren visit often? I can't imagine he does, with being a guild leader.
Not as much anymore. He used to when I first moved out here. But upon taking his duties and everything else, it's been fewer and far between. Though he sometimes still sends letters, and I send letters back, of course, to still communicate and just see how he's doing and how the guilds are, and that's how I learned about the raid. Nothing I could really do about it other than prepare and hide. That's why there were no casualties, really, just some injuries and some scuffles. He's kind enough to let us know it was coming.
So you'd say I could trust him?
I'd say of any of the guild leaders, you could trust him perhaps the most from my knowledge of it. That and perhaps Uppy.
Uppy.
Yes.
Is
Oh, the
it?
Demir. The leader of the Demir. A fun little lass. Cares more about her explosives than, well, literally anything else. As long as you don't get between her and her explosives, you're fine.
Uppy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real full name? Or is that a nickname?
Well, no, that's her full name that she gave his guild leader. If you're part of the guild, apparently people call her Blowy Uppy.
You see his eyebrows furrow, raise, one goes up, the other one comes down. He's just like, a mouth is just open in kind of silent, kind of opening and closing like a fish. Just. Right. Blowy Uppy. Great. Lass with explosions, so worse than your daughter. Got it.
Well, if you get her angry, yes, she knows. Let's just say she knows how to use those explosives. Very, very well.
Yes, sure. Don't get on her bad side.
Oh, most assuredly do not do that.
Right. So, question, going back to Ren. What would make Ren scared?
Scared? Why?
You know how I said I was on a first name basis with him, right?
Yes, but it's still a particularly odd question to ask.
He and I talked. Not that too long ago. Actually, not. Right around the same time that, I commandeered your daughter to my crew. He, for lack of a better word, he came seeking my help, or at least to requisition it for future. And if there's one way to describe the way he spoke, it was fear. He was jittery, he didn't seem... I mean, it's Jereg, so I expect he didn't want anyone knowing what he was doing regardless, but...
Orin has a very concerned look on his face. I've not known that boy to really know fear. He's quiet, sure, and maybe, if you want to call it fearful, but maybe just socially avoiding, but never really fearful. So I'm
I mean,
afraid I don't know.
normally I just write it off as, posturing and, I guess social engineering, social connecting, trying to get up on, hey, maybe he knew me from, the rumors coming around from back from Galaran, but
Perhaps. I mean, yes, he likes seeking out adventures and getting information, so I assumed that's what he initially contacted you for, because adventures of your renown and and exploits would be a huge draw to his attention, of course. I mean, that's what I naturally assumed he was contacting you about. But if you're saying he was afraid,
not of
I
me, of course, but
well, no, I would hope not. But I meant fearful of anything else, or in the reasoning. I I don't know. I can only assume maybe the other guilds somehow play here with that, or I don't know. Maybe something your exploits have done have shaken him. I don't know. I'm sorry, lad.
no, just this isn't my pond of fish, as it were. So if I'm going to be talking to the powers that be, I just want to know what I'm getting into. And I expect Ascot here would like the same.
Yes, the boss
So-
nods.
You said you were a noble, yes, lad?
Yes, of the city of Galaran.
Well, a word of advice then. Scrap any notion you have that you're important here.
I do that for him every day.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Good.
he's quite good at commenting on that.
Well,
Just flashes a smile to Absinthe.
Orin kind of grins as well, but then quickly returns and shakes his head and kind of returns to his kind of serious expression. Those here in Jarrag don't take too kindly to the idea of nobility. So flaunting that or trying to use that to gain any sway, well, let's just say lesser nobles have been, for lack of a better word, duped into contracts of sorts, and well, many could still be found working in the fine establishments of Jarrag.
Oh, they like their nobility all right, just their own, not others. Simple as.
Well, be that as it may, I would not go flaunting it.
It's glad to know there are hypocrites on the other side of the ocean. Looks over to
Less hypocrite,
Andros.
more just well, a lot of them believe themselves to be a bit smarter on the way things work than nobles, and if the noble is smart, then they turn into usually potential business partners. If they're just nobles flaunting their, well, status for the sake of being pompous assholes, no offense, obviously, hopefully, but, well, they take advantage of those.
Absinthe is giving Andros the biggest shading grin as he's hearing more and more, thinking, that's exactly what a noble would say.
Andros just shrugs. What can I say? Social posturing. Why I'm gaining information. You can laugh all you want. It's your world. I don't really get why you're laughing, because that's exactly why I hate this whole get-up that you have to deal with. You're more interested in what you can gain and how you can use other people to gain it than anything else. Whatever
Oh.
title they go by, it's all shit. Your princeliness.
He wipes a tear after he says your princeliness. I'm glad to know that there are assholes on both sides.
I never said there weren't.
Of course, that's the way the world works. But if you're really curious, the Simic have been inventing a cow with 2 assholes.
What?
One on each end. They thought it would improve efficiency.
Head
thought-
tilt 45 degrees.
I thought you said they were smart.
They are, but like I said, every avenue of invention, every fancy that comes is what we try to promote in Jarag within reason, of course, and that one got funding from someone, somehow.
Hold on, I think I understand the idea. So, if I remember from school, cows have multiple stomachs.
Oh my god. No, stop, please.
Exactly! I mean, I'm not saying I'm much of a Simic researcher or biologist, but I could see the possibilities there, and, well, I thought maybe a more mechanical solution would be more ideal, which is why the Izzet tried to replicate later, but, well, it didn't end so well.
I'm with Andros still on this one, because I understood the multiple stomach thing was to improve the processing. You can't make it go faster by having multiple.
And see, that's what ended up being the problem, but of course they thought maybe they could make it faster by adding in a secondary exhaust so they could feed it more and it could reduce waste more. But that didn't really
Andros,
happen.
why are you letting this continue?
Oh,
He-
daughter, you know
he's-
you like it.
Is Tildy walking with us? I don't remember.
No,
if she
I'm
was.
just. No, Raina is begging you to stop this.
There's a sense of almost morbid curiosity at this point. Andros is just like, yeah, he's morbidly curious to the point that he's not stopping the discussion. He's just, if anything, it's a fun story to, mess with somebody another time.
I can see it now. You're back on the boat. Oh, what would the
Ship.
crew think? Back on the ship. Boat.
Thank you.
Dinghy. It goes by many names.
Yeah, and you'll go by the drowned rat if you keep calling it the wrong thing.
You know, the Drowned Rat would be a good name for a saloon.
Also a waterlogged prince.
That doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, but there is something to repeated activities that makes us keenly excellent about it, especially Kajit.
Or in
Nice.
staring blank face now.
Anyway, Oren, thank you.
Yikes.
I appreciate the information. I'm curious to know what Ren has to say, and I'm hoping he's willing to do it outside of prying ears.
I imagine so. He's not much for public speaking or trying to get a lot of people involved. If he wants to talk to you personally, I imagine it'll be a quiet, private conversation.
Quick question. Is anybody new to the town? Or perhaps persnickety? Maybe he's never got along?
Well, no, not for a little while, no. But persnickety, I mean, I suppose this could go on about some of our neighbors, but I don't know if that's what you're really looking for.
I'll be blunt. Is there anyone you think who would be untrustworthy or would be feeding information out to someone else?
We wouldn't have really let them in the village if so, but it's not like we really have any information or such to divulge. We're really that kind of place.
Fair enough. Sorry, old habits, paranoias, I guess. It's... Yeah. Galaran was shit, and you start questioning who you talk to, and you never know who's listening. So,
See, well, I guess I should scratch that off my my bucket list of sorts.
oh no, it's a shithole. Don't go. It's absolutely terrible. Port sucks. City's decent. Food's shit.
You
Right,
know,
Ascot?
Yeah, yeah, that's why you have a company of heroes over there.
Hey, they asked me to join, not vice versa.
right,
Uh,
well, I suppose I should be heading back to help Hildy. Can't leave her alone in the shop for too long. You know how she is. She'll probably blow another hole in the wall.
Sure. Well, if you need anything, let me know. I've, like I said, got a talent with water and stone. So if we're needing raw materials, I can help you out.
Keep that in mind. I appreciate it, lad.
And yeah, he'll nod. I expect just kind of wander the city. You know, wander the river a little bit, spend some time chatting up locals. Probably bump into Seabreeze at some point.
Okay. We'll hop over to, speaking of, we'll hop over to Seabreeze real quick before we hop over to Hildy and her dad. But Seabreeze, are you actually like inquiring about getting like a merchant to come by and like talk with you about wares here?
I'm just being curious. I don't really have an aim. I was just hoping to engage with some of the local population.
Well, that's fine. That's why I was curious, because if so, I mean, yeah, they would have, you know, the two gnomes there would eventually, if one would have gone out after some time, another kind of very eccentric looking gnome would come walking in, very dressed in kind of lavish looking purples and golds, very standoutish. Kind of rubs his hands together as the other gnome points over in your general direction in a kind of a wide grin. Creeps across his face, dusts off his jacket, kind of comes over to you, taps you on the knee. He's short.
Hello.
Hello there. Name's Tyrone. I heard you're interested in perhaps perusing some of our wares.
Yes, I could do that. My name is Seabreeze.
Oh, we have far more than just mining, but if you're interested, yes, we have some fine ores and refined metals if you're looking for that, or if you're doing large quantities or wish to engage in some form of partnership. If you happen to have an establishment of sorts, we can certainly talk about that. If you'd come with me, and he kind of motions for you to follow, leads you over to a small little bench where he's sitting, or not bench, desk where he sits behind. Scoots up the desk, motions for you to take a seat. You see several different sized chairs. Now, what kind of things can I interest in you? We have a large selection of some gizmos and gadgets that the rest of the town has been working on that we've had in reserve that we haven't quite made a sale yet, if you're curious. We also, of course, have some fine selection of golds and silvers. If you're looking to get them fashioned into any jewelry, we can have that done. Custom made, of course. We just have to get the size, amount, and quantity, and of course, the intricacies of it. We don't have a lot of enchanters here. I do apologize for that. We're still looking to outsource that. But if you're interested in anything else, we can certainly potentially try to accommodate you. So, how can I be of service?
I don't wish to have a partnership. I'm not of such means, but I'm very curious about all the metals that you mine around here. Anything atypical?
So I see, and well, that's a shame. Oh well, but maybe perhaps when your companions would be interested in a partnership. If so, definitely give them my card. But as far as rare materials, I see So you're a connoisseur then of what they would call some very fine specimen of rock, are you?
Well, yes, I am what you would call a practitioner of the magical arts. So I'm
So
always on the
perhaps
lookout. Yes.
we do have, on the down low, we do have some manufactured magical crystals that we can sell on the down low, of course, if you're that kind of buyer. If not, I know nothing about what you're talking about, and we don't do that here. Wink, wink. But we do have a couple that I could convince you to potentially buy that store a spell each and activate upon command.
Oh,
How does that
yes.
sound?
That is very interesting to me.
Great! How many can I sign you up for? They are currently a 10 gold apiece for the ones that can hold up to a level 3 slot. Well, 3 third power spell. 5 gold for the second slot, and 2 gold for a single slot, a single level spell. One time use, they unfortunately shatter upon use. We are unfortunate minor inconvenience, but that is the current status of the ones that are mined here.
Oh my god. Can you go? Can you list that again? That sounds amazing.
10 gold. So he's selling the magical crystals that he mentioned that you saw some of the guards use. They don't have an infinite supply, but he has some on hand. 10 gold for a crystal that can hold up to a third level spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
And the properties are similar to what, again, you've seen the guards and other NPCs so far of Jerreg use, where you can basically equivalent to how a spell scroll works, where you enchant the stone you basically spend your spell slot to hold a spell within the stone.
Mm-hmm.
And these are word activated ones, so you can have a command word associated with it, and upon using the command word, the spell will activate from the stone using your spell stats from it. The crystal will then shatter upon its use.
And he said there was other tiers too.
Yes. 10 gold for the one that can hold up to a third level, 5
Uh-huh.
gold for ones that can hold up to a second level spell, and 2 gold for one that can hold up to a first level spell.
Okay. How many of these do you have?
We currently have only 2 that can hold a third level spell. We currently have 5, I think, currently, of the ones that can hold the second level, and we have, well, we have 6 of the ones that can hold the first level, but I do warn you that some of these are they're a little imperfect. There might be a few mishaps. Nothing to be concerned about, of course, but, well, I just have to warn you a little bit on those.
Which ones are not so good? The 2 gold ones?
The 2 gold ones, yes.
Yeah, questionable. I see.
They're questionable. To hold the refinement process for such low level quality gems, there's always a little bit of a potential mishap that the spell may not take or may not fire off as intended. But obviously these are rare occurrences, of course. So we try to manufacture only the best here.
Of course. And how many of the 5 gold second level slot?
We have 5 of those currently.
5 of those. Okay. So that would be. I will take all of your third and second level slot crystals. If you will
marvelous.
do that. Could I maybe get those for 40 gold instead of 45, since I'm buying your entire stock of those?
Oh, you drive a hard bargain, my lad. We are just a small village after all, and I mean,
Well,
if you
I'm
to
more than prepared. I have other services to offer in my limited time that we are here. Would you be willing to barter?
He kind of leans in. What do you have to offer? I am always interested in special services.
I am how would I say this? I am able to get inside places and take things. Yes.
Oh, you're one of a particular light-fingered fellow. I see.
Yes, but I'm trying to stay out of the martial business. So just items. No.
I see.
No violence.
And does your service extend to only in the city now, in the village now, or or can I include jobs outside of the village?
For now, let's stay local. I don't know you after all, and I don't know your influence.
I see. Well, he kind of looks over to the other gnomes that are just kind of chatting. They are kind of been eyeing every so often. Just they're kind of used to this particular, to Tyrone's usual lavish routine. But he kind of glares at them and then kind of shoos them away, and they roll their eyes and walk off. And he leans in real close. All right. So I have a proposition then.
How close
I
is he
can-
leaning in? I'm just
Very,
asking.
very, very close.
Oh.
Like he's kind of like leaning on the desk, almost kind of kneeling on it.
very tempted to steal some shit from this guy. Keep going.
I have a proposition. I think we could be very great business partners in a fashion. If you do this job for me, I will knock off the 5 gold. In fact, I will knock off 10 gold and give you what you want. And if you succeed, well, let's just see, I might have some other stock you might be interested in that I can give you access to if you are willing to take on other jobs for me.
I'm interested.
Alright. Before we delve into the details of the fun stuff beyond, let's start with the right now. You see, there's a particular fellow in this town by the name of Gwendolyn, who owes me a rather large, substantial amounts of money for an amulet she purchased that she still seems to can't quite cough up the dough. And she's still loved and beloved and, cared for by all those in the town. And because she's an elderly gnome, they all want to help her but not make her pay, and yada. Well, here's the deal. I want you to steal that amulet back.
Does she wear it?
What I've heard, she wears it in the day, but leaves it by her bedstand at night. It's got
see.
certain curative magics, or so she believes, and she thinks it helps aid with her failing memory and some other thing. Whatever the case. She hasn't paid. The village prevents me from wanting to extract the payment I am due, and it's a very expensive piece of jewelry that I could easily find a buyer for.
Insight check. Is he being truthful about the transaction?
Go ahead and roll me an insight.
Oh, come on. God, don't screw me. You screwed me. I rolled a 2.
As far as you can tell. He seems to be just, a businessman that wants his money for a product that he was not paid and is being blocked essentially by the rest of the village, saying, just let her have it kind of deal.
I see. What does this amulet really do if you sold it?
Let's just say it magically warms up. So it feels nice and warm against your chest, and, well, let's just say I told her it had some magical curative properties.
I see. And you said this older gnome was elderly, but is she capable? Am I likely to run into traps on her abode?
Oh, no. I would stake it back myself if I was nimble or could do what you propose you say you could do. The problem being is the rest of the town knows I'm here, and if I walk out with a proper alibi, so if you perform this action at night, I will be drinking my heart out at the tavern. So I will have the perfect alibi. Whether if I just stole it now, they'd all come rioting after me and drive me out of town. After all the money I make them.
I see. Well, I will do this for you if you show me which house.
Okay. As far as map-wise, he just points out it is this house here.
I see.
The roofless one. It should be easy to steal from.
One that happens to be over, but yeah, the roofless one.
Okay, and I will take the crystals from you now.
How will I know you'll do the job if I give you the crystals now?
I will give you the full amount. And you will give me the discount when I return. Job done.
Roll me a persuasion.
Much better. That is persuasion. 13.
Okay. Alright. He kind of eyes you, narrows his eyes a little bit. I suppose that's fair. Alright, fine. He reaches under the table, and you kind of hear him rustling around the desk a little bit before he pulls out 2 sacks. He lays down one. Here's the 3 slots. And he lays on it. Here's the ones with the 2 slot. Now, the 45 gold.
Draws out the coins and lays them on the table.
Good. Now, upon your return with the aforementioned item, I will return to you your 10 gold as promised, and I will discuss our potential partnership further if you're interested, if you do this well.
So, GM,
Yes.
when Tyrone went into whatever bag or coat pocket or whatever he was doing and drew out the things in his hand, I would like to cast Ledger Domain Mage Hand and attempt to steal from him.
Oh boy. Throw it up.
What? Throw it up? What did you say?
Or throw the description up for the Ledger Main Hand.
Okay.
Just so I can remind myself exactly what the
Oh yeah.
text is on it.
Down here
I believe it's like an
somewhere.
invisible hand, right?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
invisible mage hand.
Okay, just making sure. Is
But he
mage-
needs to look away so I can make the motions, to cast it. So that's what I was
Yeah.
waiting for.
I mean, he is looking away. Like I said, he's looking down to kind of grab it from his desk.
Uh-huh.
You must succeed on a sleight of hand versus bias perception. Okay, so there's a legit roll for that. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead and roll me your sleight of hand, and I will roll his perception. Great.
That's.
Oh, he rolled high.
Oh, really? Did he beat a 28?
No. He rolled a 22, though.
Oh,
That's
shit.
pretty good.
That could have been
Yeah,
bad.
really good.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, I would
Yeah,
like to take
that
his
was-
gold. Wherever he's got his gold. I'm assuming he has a gold purse of some sort.
I mean, you wouldn't know exactly where it is.
Oh, okay. My bad then. If nothing
I mean,
is
you could
obvious,
steal. Yeah.
if nothing is
Like, he's
obvious
not-
on his person, then I wouldn't be able to do this. 'Cause,
You can.
yeah.
He's got obvious like gold chains and stuff on, but you don't know where his gold purse is necessarily.
Oh, do any of the chains look worth money? Like a lot?
I mean, I guess you can roll me a. Is appraisal a skill in 5e? I feel like it's not. It's my brain's going back to
no,
35.
it's
I don't think there
insight.
is one.
Or I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Roll me,
yeah, insight,
Investigation, maybe?
Or
Or
investigation.
insight?
Yeah. Investigation with, I guess you'd add your proficiency in a sense if you don't have it already.
Okay.
History.
Investigation. Oh, that's really good. Investigation is a 22.
Yep. There is one, like, out of all of his kind of gold, like, there's some, like, kind of look valuable, but there's one that seems oddly blander than the rest, but seems to house a very unique looking stone.
Yoink.
Okay.
That's
You
a
don't get all
necklace?
many. Yes, it's a necklace.
Necklace.
Yeah, it's a silver, like alloyed necklace. It's not even pure silver. But there's a small circular,
Stone.
like pendant
Oh, okay.
with a odd, dull colored stone. Like it's kind of like a brownish red.
You just stole his wedding band.
I might give
He
it back.
morphs into a female. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, jeez.
Jeez. Okay, that goes in my back pocket.
And then he. Okay, so yeah, that's when he was pulling the stuff up. So then he puts it on. You change the gold, and he exchanges that information about
And now I have
showing you more of his wares and having a
I have
partner.
7 crystals, 2 of which do 3rd level and 5 of which do 2nd.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But like I said, they function kind of like Ice Sky. They're kind of like a spell scroll in that regard. You just have to let me know because it does consume a spell slot to charge one of them. And then when you slight thing that I guess you'll learn when you use them. So
Okay.
I guess you wouldn't know the full mechanics of them. You'll have fun.
Our business is concluded for the moment. I shall return most likely tomorrow morning.
That sounds like a plan. I look forward to our partnership and future endeavors. It has been a pleasure to serve you. Remember, my name is Tyrone. If you have any friends that would be interested in pursuing a partnership or any other purchases, please refer them to me.
I will. Thank you for your time.
A pleasure. And he extends his hand to shake your hand.
Shake his hand.
Roll me a perception.
Sorry, I closed my character sheet.
Jeez.
Plus something. Perception, that is a 17.
You notice as he's trying to shake your hand, his other hand is trying to reach under the desk and see if he can grab your purse. But he kind of just awkwardly grabs your knee instead.
I don't know. I don't know you like that yet.
Oh, sorry. Just a cordial pleasure. It's a gnomish tradition.
Yes, of course. I shall see you anon.
Of course. I will see you anon. Bye-bye.
Oh my god.
I like Tyrone. Let's have more Tyrone. He's even got a rare stock we can unlock.
He'll be looking for me for sure. I took his wedding band. Okay.
I like him.
Yay.
Okay, so you have a mission now to accomplish in the night. To steal from an old gnome.
Well, maybe. I know.
Maybe.
Okay. I got to go back to talk to
So
the gang.
while that's happening, the other conversation, Orin is heading back to find Hildy, straighten up his lab and all that. Quite the friends you've made, daughter.
Yeah, I didn't exactly know I would end up in this kind of situation when I decided to leave, but it's been interesting.
Well, fate has a funny way of showing itself, I suppose, but as chaotic as they seem like a nice bunch.
They're good people. I mean, I wonder about that human noble, but he did help. He did help back in Greener Greens, so
He's the
guess
one you're
maybe-
worried about. The blue one was the one that was giving me the odd vibes, I suppose. But well,
Anderos is. He means well. Sometimes he could just be a bit
brash.
crass.
Yes, that'd probably be the word.
People keep
And-
saying that.
In good hands, though. The big one, for sure, seems to know his way around a halberd.
Oh, he's good to have around in a sticky situation, for sure.
I could definitely see that. As long as you're being safe, I worry about you, and of course, with the guilds coming after you and all. I mean, like I said, you've given them a perfect excuse to keep looking for, well, you know.
I never meant to cause trouble for you. I didn't think that far ahead.
Oh, no, don't worry about us. I'm worried about you, of course. We'll be fine. They said it's more of a show of bluffing for us, of course. They're not going about to destroy or hurt any of us here that are providing still war and materials to them.
I hope you're right. But at the same time, don't be surprised if they decide to maybe step outside the lines a little bit. I mean, you're
Eh,
smart, Dad. You know that all they need to do is come up with a reason and they'll be here again.
well, don't doubt it, but you also know that I'm small enough to have a few tricks up my sleeve still.
I
You remember
know,
the
but
explosives we built before? I've perfected a little bit of them. If push comes to shove, we'll get out of here. Don't you worry. I'll make sure of it.
just be careful.
Well, of course, that's half of the scientific experiment is being careful enough. Well,
So,
sometimes you could blow off
uh,
a few eyebrows to make a bomb.
I've singed my fair amount of hair over the years. I'm sure you know that.
Oh, of course, it somehow keeps growing back. I think that's a trait of an inventor.
Well, I did learn from the best after all.
He just kind of gives you a coy smile.
So, I guess Andros talked to you about Ren coming?
Yes, he mentioned it. It will be nice to see my old friend again. It sounds like it's not under ideal circumstances. I don't know what would drive that lad to be afraid, but it's been a few years since I've seen him. A lot has probably happened.
Do you really think that you can trust him?
Well, I do. If I can't trust the lad that I worked with through many years and have no reason to doubt, I don't know who I can.
Dad, he's guild leadership. How can you trust any of them? You were involved in it for years. You know how dirty they are.
Yes, but I like to believe that just because he's a guild leader doesn't mean he's lost the spark and integrity he once had, and it's not always the leaders that are the troublemakers nowadays. It's usually the ones aspiring to be guild leaders or show up their cohorts that tend to delve into the more unpredictable manners. The guild leaders still have to be very, well, mostly upfront with all of their reports since they're the ones most closely scrutinized.
Records could be faked.
Well, I suppose if you're going to be cynical about it all,
I have no choice but to be cynical about it. I mean, I haven't just been sightseeing over the last 8 months.
I kind of hoped you had. Perhaps the life of the Jera guild member really isn't what you're suited for. Don't take that the wrong way. I know you're brilliant, and again, you learned, obviously, and you surpassed probably me, but you seem destined for more open pastures, more open skies. I saw it's.
I don't. I don't know, Dad. It's just. I. Yeah, I've gotten to see a little bit of the world and it's been nice, but I feel like that it almost feels tainted somehow because I'm not doing it on my own terms. I'm doing it. I don't regret ending up with Andros and everyone else, but at the same time, I didn't just choose to go off because I wanted to have a good time. I was running for my life. And now this will never really feel... As long as I'm here, you guys aren't safe. They'll always be looking for me. I can't even call this place home anymore.
Oh, you can always call it home, my dear. They will in time grow bored and find other things to catch their interest or inquiry. Your tool is what they're really after, and, well, as much as I would love to say it's the only one and you're truly unique with it, it's... Truth be told, it's not the only one. It's just the one they happen to know of most recently. But there are others. They know of them. And in time, they will turn to those when those become easier or closer to go after as well.
It's just messed up that we're having to just wait until they move on to the next victim. This isn't fair, Dad.
It rarely is.
Who are they to just have us all living in fear of what they're going to take from us? Why do they have so much power? They took the most important person in my life away. And I'll never know why.
I wish I knew the answer to that, but I'm afraid I still don't have an answer. I don't know why they would have done so, and we know the guilds are not. We like to joke that they're better than the politics in the other cities, but in reality, they're probably just as bad. I'm sure you'll find your answers somewhere, and that my deep down wish is that you would move on and find a happier life outside, but I also know that you're stubborn like your mother, and you will probably keep looking. But with friends like these beside you, perhaps I feel a little bit better.
I don't know. The more that I see, the more of the truth that I see in the guilds and how they operate, the more that... Wouldn't it be nice if someone just knocked him down a peg or two?
That would be nice, yes, but we're not really the ones that can do that.
I don't think that you give yourself enough credit.
Perhaps, but I have things I want to protect too. Getting into a political war of sorts with the guilds. Well, maybe in my youth that would have been an endeavor I could have partaken in, but
Wouldn't it be nice to be able to work without having to worry about their oversight?
again, yes, it would be nice. But I do enjoy the funding and the tools and the facilities. You need those to do the research too. If not, why even bother going to Jerag?
I get
There.
it. That's the entire reason that I went to Jerry Rag. But look at how we're forced to live, constantly in fear of their eyes.
I know it seems bad, and yes, the current rules and everything are maybe not ideal, but there are things. You have to believe me, there are things that it has protected against from the past. People were allowed to use everything at their disposal to research anything. Well, some of the outcomes were truly horrifying.
So where's the line, Dad? What should they be able to get away with in the name of progress?
That's what the guild leaders are for. That's what the guild council is for.
Look what they allowed to happen even with all of this oversight. The guilds still do terrible things. I am on the run for my life right now.
Hey, well, you did break a taboo, but
So what, I
There's
should end up
reason.
in greener greens?
heavens, no, it's not. That's that's an entirely different thing.
Is it? I mean, if a place like that can exist, then what else are they hiding?
It's always been far worse. I just be wary what you search for. You may uncover things that you are not going to be too thrilled to learn about. Well, or maybe you'll learn that the rules as they are do somewhat protect us from.
We wouldn't need protection at all if it weren't for the amount of power that they hold.
You are still young. The horrors of what mortals can create when given all the tools. Truly frightening.
I don't know. I wish I could be as optimistic as you, but all I can see is what they've taken from me. I know that others had to have suffered more than I have at their hands. It's not right.
I wouldn't say it's about right so much as it's about preservation, perseverance, not perseverance. The general, maybe it's not even if I was such to say global good, safety.
I don't know. It might come at a cost in the end. I just hope that it's not too much.
He just kind of nods solemnly before he kind of starts moving about, kind of clean up the shop as well. Well, well, perhaps onto more less somber topics. Have you invented anything new recently?
Hildy will just smirk at him and then, plop her bag on the table and just start pulling out various gadgets that she's worked on the ship and showing them to him. She'll spend the next little while just showing him, various stuff in her bag.
Okay. And yeah, he'll be impressed and like compare to things he's made, or maybe even show like critiques or approval and all that such. And by that time, I imagine day kind of progresses, goes to night. Everyone starts kind of returning back to the house, unless people have other plans they want to do. I know Seabreeze might have other plans at night.
Yep.
But
During the day too.
oh, during the day as well. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to I guess Hildy's house would probably be the best to start with. I wanted to ask Hildy and family, is there like a law enforcement person in this town?
Oh, Orin kind of looks a little bit like worried as he kind of looks around. Not
Who would be
really,
the
but
one I would go to ask if like maybe people were like known swindlers, like
Well, I guess that would be myself and a few of the other older members of the community. We kind of oversee it and discuss amongst ourselves.
I
Our own little council, if you will.
I see. I've just been to visit a Tyrone. Do you know him?
you see his like eye, like he just rolls his eyes in the widest way possible.
Oh, I see. Well, in any case, he asked me to do something, and I I don't know. I don't know if he is being honest with me. So I wanted to see if his reputation was
He sits
worthy.
there. As you're saying this, after he rolls his eyes, he's just got his. He's pinching the brow, like the bridge of his nose, and you just see him muttering under his breath. Oh, why am I not surprised? Tyrone is a unique fellow. He is. Look, we all know he's a bit of a swindler. We know it. We allow it. But the truth of the matter is, he brings in. Well, he keeps the town afloat with the other traders. None of us really care or really are much in the ways of trade or trying to prevent being swindled, and well, you gotta fight fire with fire, right? So we
And
just know that buying things from him is a risk, but we let him handle the affairs of selling things to the traders.
I understand. This is what I wanted to know. He asked me to do something for him. Do you know a Gwendolyn?
Don't tell me he's trying to get payment still for that useless rock they sold her.
Yes. I see you know the story.
Gwendolyn loves it. She's lost a lot of her mental facilities in her old age, and she believes that stone is a gift from her grandson. He's
I
not
see.
around anymore,
I-
and she
I-
treasures it.
I
It's a
see.
useless heating rock.
Yes. I figured as much. I'm glad I talked to you. I'm not sure what to do in this instance. You see, I used to be the kind of person that would just do things like that without thinking. But I'm trying to turn over a new leaf, so I'm not sure what to do. I don't really want to punish Tyrone. He seems like, you say, useful in certain ways. But I certainly don't want to rob poor old Gwendolyn.
He sits there and just kind of like sits back in the chair again. He's just sitting there scratching at his, furrowing his brow.
I think we should play a trick on him, though.
I will hear what you got in mind. We've thought about trying to replicate the stone, but you'll notice her wearing it and know that he has been duped, and I can't have that.
Well, as it happens, I found this. She pulls out the necklace that she stole from him. Do you think this has any magical properties?
Is that Tyrone's?
Maybe. Who can say?
Give it here.
These things that are laying around. She hands it to him.
He rushes over to his workbench, kind of brings over a kind of like one of those magnifying glass apparatus type things. Kind of leans in, starts poking at it a little bit.
Ah, well, that's... Huh. Turns it over. Well, that certainly explains that. Well, it's, certainly an odd find you've gotten here. Guess it explains a few things about our friend.
Oh?
Well, yes, It's how to explain it? It's Well, I wouldn't say it's a cursed item. It's more of a faulty item.
What was it supposed to do?
Well, the stone is designed to give the wielder an advantage of sorts in convincing others to sell, the gift of silver tongue, as you will. But it seems, and he kind of flips it over and he's kind of examines it. This one has an unintended side effect, the imperfection in the stone.
What would the side effect do?
It looks like if you were to fail in utilizing its properties, or become... Well, let's just say that failing could cause the stone to, it could cause the stone to critically fail. It's a bit of pent-up magic in a unsuitable container, if you will. He kind of just looks down at it, looks at you, just kind of just motions the kaboom.
Oh.
I don't know if he actually knows that it has that effect, but it would explain why he has the gift of gab.
I see. Well, now I'm even more conflicted, because if this is how he keeps your town afloat, so to speak, wouldn't want to take that from him.
Assuming he makes use of it. I don't know how often he's used it. I'm surprised if he has. That means he's never really failed his conversations too often, but impressive in its own right. But this is definitely a curious little piece. So yeah, the appraisal being mechanically, it gives advantage on persuasion and deception checks. However, if you fail a roll against whatever target you're doing by a roll of 5 or more, it will explode.
Oh my god. I know this guy's whole life now. He also sold me some of these things. Hands over.
Rushes over.
Yeah.
He rushes over and looks at them, and he sighs at that as well. He's like, well, I hope you didn't pay too much for him.
Oh, nothing I'll miss. She looks over and winks at Hildy.
They are
whoever's around.
Much like the crystal that I did examine, these are flawed renditions, imperfected ones that we couldn't sell. They should still work, provided you're okay with a few duds or backfires.
Perhaps. Are there other examples of these? You said these were rejects. Do people make these around here?
We tried our hand. They occasionally bring us shipments for refining. We can't locally mine them here. The crystals are a unique source in Jerag, but we do occasionally refine or improve on qualities they send us once here. He kind of shuffles, starts digging around his desk and throwing stuff everywhere, and pulls out a really shiny looking crystalline rock. It's nothing like the one in my tool that Hildy has, of course, but he has a similar one. And he holds it out to you, and it looks like a diamond, basically.
Oh.
And it's just very shiny, perfected form. This is one that would hold a level 1. This one is a bit higher quality than most of its same caliber, but this is what a finished one should look like. Of a high quality, anyway. Reusable, level 1 to its perfected state.
Seabreeze looks at the ones that she's purchased.
They are
I'm
dull
guessing they don't
colored.
look. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
nearly as
they're
nice.
dull color. They look kind of like a. I don't know if you've ever seen them. You know those rocks that they would put in decorative gardens, like they're shiny looking white rocks, kind of thing,
Yeah.
like sparkly looking white rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like that. Whereas this is like a almost nearly translucent looking diamond.
Well, I suppose I learned something.
He likes to trade those off to those that are not familiar with Jirag or have seen the crystals and what they look like in their finished form. And to the average eye and average user, they would work. Most of the time, until it obviously didn't. Well, depending on what spell they put in or the user, they may not survive to come back with a complaint.
I see. So how would these crystals that I have obtained, how would they fail? Would they
Well,
explode?
Based on the cracks and, well, they might either reject the spell entirely, it's a possibility, or yes, they might potentially just fracture and explode, and based on the type of spell, might explode with the element that you had inside, or the spell might just purely misfire and go uncontrollable. It's hard to say. The more powerful the magic, the more unstable it may be.
Well, thank you very much.
Unless you want to keep these, I would advise against it. They're very imperfected. I will give you the finished one that I have for letting me take these. And I will dispose of them.
Well, I really have no use for one that stores us first level. I would give you I would give you these, but I am going to extricate my money back from Adron at the appropriate time tomorrow morning. But I was very interested in obtaining some of these crystals, but yes, if they are more rare
They do
than...
sell...
Yes.
Well, they sell finished ones in Jarak, of course. That's where they're manufactured and actually controlled and sold. For him to be selling unfinished product here is a bit on the underhand, but if that's how he does business, of course. I just didn't expect him to try to sell them off to you.
Well, could I keep one of the two third level ones, whichever one looks more reliable?
Well, you can keep as many if you'd like, but unfortunately they're all a little hard to tell on their quality. They're all unrefined.
Okay. Yes, just one.
I mean, you can keep as many as you'd like.
Whichever one looks better.
Of each level, or
just the third level one?
Oh, just third level?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of eyes them both over, and he's kind of grimaces as he looks at both and hands you one of the two. It's hard to say, but that one has a little less fractures, a little bit higher quality on the stone quality itself, but both are a faulty design and lesser quality. Less likely to explode, but still might reject the spell.
We shall see.
If you have need of these, let me know. Otherwise, I will dispose of them probably sometime in the next couple days.
Sure.
Hey, Dad, can I have those?
He looks at you, and you see him get like both a smile, and then he tries to keep a straight face after. And what do you plan to do with him?
Why does that matter?
Well, the last thing that your captain told me is he blew a hole or several in his ship, and these could potentially do the same.
Look,
I don't need to...
You make a couple of holes, and suddenly you're known as the girl that blows holes in things. Can you just have a little bit of faith in me?
As the father of the daughter who blows holes in things, I have perfect faith that you'll continue to blow holes in things. Which is why I'm a little hesitant to give you these, because, well, that's pretty much all they're suited for, is probably blowing holes in things. And I don't want them blowing holes in my daughter.
Hey, I'm still standing here with all my limbs attached. Have a little bit of faith in my abilities.
He looks over to Seabreeze. Well, they are still yours. You wish them to go to my daughter here to, well, hopefully not blow holes in anything of importance to you.
Oh, please, do as you will with them.
Thank you, Seabreeze. He looks at her dad and gives a massive wink.
He just, again, he kind of, it's a mixture of him looking proud and at the same time worried and trying to keep a, like, dad expression of, I don't know if I should be giving my daughter explosives, but also my daughter's playing with explosives.
Yep.
Better that than what he does.
As God intended.
He kind
Points
of
to
like looks
absent
around.
boss.
He kind of looks around. He's like, all right, well, because I like to not have my conscience on it, I'm going to put them right here on the table, and I'm going to walk over to the other side of the shop and see how your mother's doing. Because I have heard nothing but swear words for the past 2 hours from her, and, well, quite frankly, that's a bit worrisome.
Whatever makes you feel better, Dad.
Well, yes, it does. Anyway, dear, do you need any help with that water creature? And he starts wandering to the other side of the house.
So remind me what I have here.
You have a total of 6 flawed crystals. One
Okay.
that can hold a 3rd level spell slot, and 5 that can hold 2nd level spell slots.
Maybe.
Up to.
One third, 5 second.
Yes.
Okay.
And Seabury has the other 3rd level one. But they are, as he's described, they are flawed. There's a chance they could either reject spells, potentially crack and explode, or redirect, like have the spells misfire. A random chance for any of these effects to happen, or that they could behave as normal. After their use, however, the stones will crack and fall apart.
Okay. And it's basically a one-time use spell scroll, right?
Yes, that has potentially the chance of failure. A
Okay.
higher chance of failure than a spell scroll, I should say, I guess.
An unreliable spell scroll.
Right.
Basically like 3-5 spell scrolls with Arcana checks that you don't know how to use them. Or what's called magic device use.
Also, Barnacle had been banished from the house. He's playing with goats.
Oh yeah, the mother is still just exasperated. Like the entire time it's just been teaching him the whole
Wonderful.
gnomish vocabulary of swear words. Under her breath.
Barnacle was very happy to learn this information.
Barnacle will remember this. And teach it to
Hey,
Andros, who will then
boss.
recite it to a poor port guard again.
Excellent. I have ideas for these.
Poor Tyrone.
Yes, Tyrone is going to buy his necklace back. Whether he likes it or not. Also, I might like to visit old Gwendolyn, but maybe later.
Okay. We can RP that, or we can do that quickly at some point as well. I imagine this might be a nice stopping point as you kind of wrap up for the night, since it's kind of getting close to midnight. And as a heads up, we will have Ren show up within the next day, just to kind of keep things moving. But
Did he ever respond? Does he eventually respond, or?
nope, he is going to just appear.
Great.
So, and he will explain why.
No,
That will be when he does show up. But in any case, yeah, we can cover some of that stuff. If you got anything else, we can quickly sort out. But just a fun little RP session in Cinderhaven.
Can we do a quick moment so I can get into Josh's dreams?
Oh, right.
Oh gosh.
There's no great way to describe it.
No, there isn't.
No, there really is. So how does this work?
Dream is an awful spell. It is a awful spell.
Put it up there. Let's
All right, let's come on character sheet. There you
do
go.
some.
It's like scrying, but infinitely worse. I'll scry on you and also cause mental trauma. That you will be afraid of sleeping.
So I would like to appear in his dream as an angel.
Uh-huh.
As
Yeah.
an angel. So you're in
6
his
wings,
dream.
eyes everywhere.
Not biblically accurate, no. Like a.
What are you shaping the environment of his dream then?
Peaceful, happy thoughts. Like
Well, you tell me. You don't know what Josh's peaceful, happy thoughts are.
Oh, it's true. No, I want it to look like what I'm gonna imagine is a regular. Since I've been to Jerry Rag before,
Mm.
what a regular interior of a building in Jerry Rag looks like. Maybe a workshop. Yeah, let's go with a workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, someplace familiar for Josh.
I mean, he works in the Simic, which I don't think you've been to,
No.
but
There's no saving throw. He just is. You just invade his dreams. Good night.
oh man. The crazy part of all that too is it's not even like there's a crazy casting cost to it. It's not like a restricted spell.
No.
Oh, you have a diamond or something. It's not just like random ass some sand, some ink, and a quill.
Every night, just torture somebody's dreams.
Oh, come on. You gotta give me at least a little bit more credit.
All right. Well, no, they do get a with some saving throw of
If I
against a
wish to harm
nightmare.
him. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you kind of kind of conjure the shape to be kind of like a very generic looking workshop of sorts. How does this work? You can converse with the target as long as he sleeps. I guess he can talk back, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see what a converse means. So
Target's awake.
he's
when you-
trapped in here with me for the while.
Well, hold on. You're going to bed early though, you said, right?
I'm going to bed early so I can wake up at midnight to actually.
Oh, okay. So you're doing it at midnight. I was gonna say, if you're going to bed early, Josh will be awake.
No, it's specifically why he has to go to bed early.
Okay. Yeah, he works late, but yeah, if you're doing it like midnight, 1 a.m. or what such,
Yeah.
he'll be asleep. He'll be asleep at his desk. At his bench.
Right. Josh? Josh?
Hello?
Oh, good.
Josh is disconnected.
I'm a servant of Domiel, and I bring you good news.
What does
I know
Oh.
you've had a tortuous experience going to Greener Greens. I've been watching for some time.
what is a servant of Damiel with me? I'm not exactly a religious fellow. I see myself as more of an atheist.
Domiel
Might
uses
meaning an
people of
angel. I
all.
guess that's a quandary of sorts.
Domiel uses people of all matters of faith, even the most ardent atheist. I've come to tell you that you must.
I must.
Change the practices of the guilds within to bring more ethics into testing.
It seems like a really large task for someone like me. I'm just an intern. I couldn't even convince Dr. Livingstone to change what kind of coffee he had, despite knowing the one that he was going to get he wouldn't like.
Josh, despite what you think about your insignificance, you are special in this
I
matter.
am?
Yes, you are. Even if Dr. Livingstone does not recognize your brilliance.
I've always known he doesn't recognize my brilliance, but I mean, I just, well... is there anything you can... will give me to help? Some kind of tangible research? I mean, if you are an angel after all, maybe some proof of your existence that I can put forward and advance my rank a little bit, and that might put me on foot with Dr. Palestone.
Out of character, I'm thinking about what's something I could write that can actually give him an edge in all this matter. Hmm. Sorry. um, I'm actually. This might require a check, but hear me out on the idea for a second. Would it, in the time that Absalom was in Jerry Rag, do you think he might have overheard some juicy bit of gossip that perhaps a lowly intern might not know otherwise?
Probably nothing like internal to the guild, since you wouldn't have
Mhm.
had like access to anything like inside any of them. But probably nothing that I can think of that you would like really just happen upon. Um, I mean, yeah, nothing necessarily internal, but I mean, if you gave him outside knowledge, maybe is I guess the only thing that those in the guild might not know of, considering that you are part of a legendary adventuring party.
Yes, why not tell him a bit more of a detailed tale of the crown that. Ooh. Oh, I got a really interesting idea.
All right.
Although I kind of need a background question understood. What does Jerry Rag think of the void? Especially since Josh is more atheistic. What if I wrote a proof of mathematical proof of the void's existence?
What?
I am very
I'm
curious to
sorry,
see this
what?
proof. That
Well,
would,
you know, like in high level physics, right? How we can prove some particles exist even if we have not immediately observed it yet.
I mean, it would definitely be interesting. There are probably there would probably be some discussion or theory that this might be something you have maybe overheard, or if you pried into it, of like different researchers looking into the existence of a plane beneath the planes, or the interstitial rifts between the planes kind of deal. But no real like tangible or provable theory has really come of it. The only caveat being Josh is part of the Simic Guild. Not really their area of expertise per se. Unless, of course, they were dealing with like things of living nature from the void. But if you can somehow come up with a creative proof or way to like give him information to do such a thing, I mean, that might give him some ranking, but be interesting, I suppose, to see what that leads to for Josh.
Now I feel bad wondering about how many hit points he has. And how good his wisdom saving throw is. You want proof? He can have an injury from the void. This plan has gone more sideways the more I've executed it. This is great. But I will continue with the angelic theme and I'll respond back in character. Oh, ye of little faith. But don't worry. Next time.
Next
I'll
time.
come with something. Of course.
It's gonna be a regular occurrence then.
Oh, have faith. As ever little as you may believe you have, you are special, Josh.
Well, if this is truly to be believed, then perhaps next time I can set up a recording somehow, or maybe I can monitor my thoughts in the next dream. If you truly are a servant of Daniel, that would be impressive to get this servant in my mind.
Of course. Next time.
Are you ending the
Wow.
trance there, or doing anything else?
No, I'm just going to make an image of an angel servant, flapping away with his wings, and till we meet again, Josh.
Okay. You leave a dumbfounded and very confused intern in his dream, staring blankly into the heavens.
It's part of a long-term plan. But hey, that's what they get for going to greener greens.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to do before we wrap up?
Nope.
Nah.
Not for me.
Imagine Thamor's just cooking the fish now in front of the family.
Actually, I was gonna say yes. I am cooking fish.
I was gonna say, if I know,
but I was gonna be like, I was like, should I say it? Nah, it's not important.
We
But
just
yes,
know
I'm
it's
cooking
happening.
fish.
Where is this cooked fish happening?
It's being cooked.
I need
come
to
now.
know.
If this is Thamor, he would have found somebody to cook it for him.
Yes,
That's also true.
I will cook your fish for you.
He would literally walk up to somebody, hand them an unskinned, unscaled fish. Just cook this for me. I
All
caught
you-
it.
All you have to do is look up out the window, and I'm there, waiting to cook your fish.
I'm half tempted to do that. Half tempted to roll a survival check to see if I can cook this fish.
No, you will
Thamor
ruin
cook
it.
his own fish, huh?
I have to impress the fans here.
It's
And by
true.
impress, I mean burn down the house.
Oh no.
That's all that matters. Is pressing fans.
Oh, wait,
At this point, I'm pretty sure his
wait,
house probably has its own fire suppression system installed.
Wait, I have control. I think I have control flames. Yeah, I do. We can cook this fish. It will be okay. Could use some tarragon though.
We do have a stove, you know? Just use that.
Just imagining an open flame in the middle of the room. While in the other room, there's just an oven.
They've got a scaled, like just speared fish that they're just holding above an open flame in the middle of the family room. Like, we could cook it.
Yes, I will. I will roll survival check with advantage from Seabreeze help me cook. Can I?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Go for it. Why not?
Oh my
Jesus
god!
Christ.
Oh my
That's
god!
so bad.
It's out of
so
control!
bad.
My
It's
house.
out of control!
Fire suppression has been activated.
No, the fish! No!
Hold the fish over the fire, but this particular
Oh,
brand
This
of,
is
or breed of
this
fish
is why Thamor asks people to cook his fish for him.
The fish literally explodes.
He just
Oh,
shoves the fish on the
no.
end of the halberd into the fire, and
No.
it just. Woof.
That looks
Oh,
so...
Hildy's mom does not like you right now.
Now the house smells like burnt fish.
That looks so tasty too. Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then you
we
like
had
as
our
you
fish.
light it on fire, like from the roof above, you hear like a little before just a gallon of water just comes pouring out of holes in the ceiling and dousing everyone.
Yay.
Now I'm wet and hungry.
They've got a fire suppression system
That
of
is a
create,
mood.
destroy water. That's great.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's fucking great.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, there goes one of those stones. And we're also all wet. Thanks for that. We had a stove. While I'm impressed with the way you caught it, your skill with cooking really needs some work there. And you just see Hildy's mom is standing in the doorway, like, fuming.
Unlike my magic, I'm not perfect at everything.
Well,
But
I
you're
know it's
the
perfect,
infallible
but,
god.
No one knows that, really, technically, but...
I know, but
If
But why would
Andros was there, he would be pinching the bridge of his nose because he had just talked about how Thamor is a man of stoic excellence.
What was
Quiet
your
excellence.
mom's name, Hildy,
Nick-
again?
Nixia.
Nixia, okay. Yeah, she just sits there, like, I'm hearing this conversation, like, I'm not perfect and everything. She just walks over, takes a chair, stands up as tall as she can to Thamor, grabs him by the helmet, and starts dragging him to the kitchen.
Yay!
Yes!
What does Thamor do?
I guess
Or
Seymour
attempts
goes
to
along
anyway.
with.
Yay!
Yes.
You
Oh,
don't
I
resist,
love it.
mothers.
Seymour has a soft spot for the short people, except for dwarves.
Yay.
Dwarves are assholes.
And she is gonna spend the night teaching you the basics of how to cook a fish.
Oh, I
Yay!
love it.
Advantage with
I
all my
love it.
cooking checks now.
And I expect, because she's been so irritated by Barnacle's obnoxious nonsense, it is quite a verbose teaching.
Oh, it is, yeah. It is like boot
Thamor
camp.
knows all of the gnomish curse words as well.
Well, Thamor is actually pretty much at home to an extent because it's basically like him living boot camp all over again. She is being a drill instructor of
Yay.
how to cook a fish. Like Gordon Ramsay level cooking a fish.
Wow.
I love the fact that Seabreeze just sneaked out of it, basically. I don't think she's... the house caught fire and she's like, oh, I'm out.
I'm watching through a window, of course.
She's at the window behind the kitchen waiting for the food to be cooked. but not
Yes,
wanting
I'm
to.
hanging upside down from a tree branch, waiting for fish.
Alright. It's a way to end it, I suppose.
That's some way. Wow.
Next time I try cooking fish, I'm just gonna flicker my finger and cast chaos magic on it.
Oh, no.
Well, that's
Oh,
gonna
no.
go so much better.
Can you at least do it outside and not in my family's living room?
No.
I'm surprised you didn't use. I'm surprised you didn't use a chaos burst when you, or a chaos dice when you hooked Andros on the bridge.
Oh, that would be perfect.
I meant it. Buff. Something somewhere happens. Also, Shred.
Yes.
Good.
You've spent the last like 3 or 4 sessions talking about how you hate Jerrag, and then you are saying you will offer them information on how to research and use the void. I hate these people. Let me give them WMDs. What? What?
It's all part of the plan.